Well, this guy knows Jack. Justin Kripps is here. He's got his Olympic bronze medal with him, and I've got... Thanks for coming. Look, you're smiling already, man. You take that everywhere, don't you?
Yeah, for the first little while, it's fun to share the excitement with people, and it seems like a lot of people watched that race, so a lot of people wanted to talk about it.
Absolutely. Grab that mic and just pull it right into your face there. So our guy, Lee Genier, is here. He is the conduit. He's the broker. He's the reason that you're down here. In a minute, I'll ask you about you guys' relationship. But Justin's won gold in the two-man in Pyeongchang, won bronze in Beijing, and four-man this last Olympics. You're the pilot.
Yep.
And getting married soon, Lee says, in the fourth thing there. So this has been a pretty good year for you.
Yeah, big year. Lots going on. Really excited to get married to my fiance Bree Wilson, April 9th down in California. She's thankfully taken a lot of that off my plate the last few months, as we want to try to have as little going on, as little having to do as possible when you're getting ready for the games. So yeah, lots to look forward to.
Mm-hmm, no kidding. Now, I haven't had my hands on that medal yet. These guys, I think, have. A good friend of mine's Ben Hebert, Calgarian Olympic gold medalist. You must know Benny. Yep. Hebert, meet. And the one thing is, I can't believe how heavy those things are.
Yeah, they got some heft to them for sure.
And you would have got used to that winning gold in Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
So compare, if you don't mind, the two Asian Olympics, what they were like.
Yeah, I mean, both obviously very different. Different situations going on in the world for both of them. The games in Pyeongchang was more like a normal Olympic. There was a lot of fans, live on site, and you could go anywhere, do anything that you wanted to do, just to your own level of comfort with the hassle. It's always difficult to get around at the Olympics with shuttles and crowds and stuff like that. But this time, not possible to do anything. It was a closed bubble situation, and felt very safe. The biggest kind of COVID worry for us was getting there in the first place, not getting COVID in the lead up to the games, because that could potentially have you miss out on the big show. But they took every possible precaution you could imagine and more. So it was by that point we were kind of used to all the COVID protocols. It was pretty strict on our World Cup tour as well. But yeah, it's always a bit sad not to have a lot of spectators. There were some, but yeah, it was. I guess a TV Olympics kind of is a good way to describe it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I've been around athletes my whole life, but the thing with Olympic athletes, and when I say amateur, it's only because the money isn't there per se. You're putting in just as much work as the pros, obviously. And I was thinking about you guys and gals when COVID hit, because I knew we had Olympics coming up. How did it affect your training here? What you could do and what you couldn't?
Yeah, it was that was a big challenge for sure. Our training centers closed for a very long time, and then it was almost impossible to get into them once they were open for a while. Especially if you traveled outside the country, there was a lot of protocols to do on the way back in. One of my teammates, Ben Coquel, he built a pretty professional training center in his garage. And there was actually a lot of athletes in Calgary using that space, and we relied on that heavily leading up, and making sure we can get all of our training and weightlifting in, and we just had to adapt a lot and overcome all of those challenges.
A Navy friend of mine, Don Mitchell's watching. He says, "What did Justin think of the amazing paint scheme on the bobsleds?"
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's different colors than we've had before. Obviously, usually we're in red, but it matched the color scheme of the track incredibly well, and I thought it looked great. We've got some really cool pictures from the venue. They've kind of got blue and white borders on the background, and then we had the blue and gray and white sleds, and it just looked amazing with the backdrop, the mountains in the background and stuff. So yeah, it's a really cool partnership, and proud to be able to kind of rep the Navy and give a nod that way. And yeah,
there you go, Don. And by the way, this is cool. Digital broadcasting, we can see our viewerships going up with you on, Justin. So people are pumped to have you here. And I got to ask you this: watching it, like I did, was it cold over there? It looked cold.
Yeah,
it was.
It was super cold. It was getting down to -20 overnight, and for the races, I think we probably raced around -15 for the first heat of the day, and -10 for the second heat. So pretty cold, but we're kind of used to that being from Calgary, so it probably doesn't bother us as much as other people.
Don says, paying homage to the World War II Royal Canadian Navy with regards to your last answer. So yeah, they obviously really liked it, and maybe you heard from them during. What does that do to the track temperature?
Well, yeah, it can change the conditions a lot. It was actually a really strange situation over there because the ice was actually warmer than the air, which is rare because the ice has refrigeration underneath it, so they can obviously make it cold and keep it iced when the weather's warm. But having that is a strange dynamic. It's also super dry there. So when it gets cold and hard like that, the ice can shatter and it degrade quite a bit. So you really just had to be aware of the changing conditions and kind of prepared for however the ice felt when you went down.
John Ohm is watching in Winnipeg. He says, in all caps, let's see that medal, Justin. Can you hold it up to the camera there right in front of you? There it is, that thing. What does it weigh?
I had this debate with one of my teammates, and we never got around to weighing it. He said a kilo, and I said no chance. It's not
that heavy, but still heavy.
I say 600 grams. So we gotta. I don't know. Maybe we can look it up or weigh it at some point. But it's one of those things where when you hold it, it's way heavier than you think it's going to be.
Which is cool though. Like you want something substantial when you win an Olympic medal.
Yeah.
Same weight as your gold one.
I haven't held them next to each other, but it's definitely close. I would say within 100 grams for sure.
How long do you think you'll carry it around for?
I don't know. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm going to events and stuff like that, as an athlete, I take it with me. A lot of people want to see it. I don't carry it around to the grocery store or to the bar or anything like that. But not to say that it's bad if you do. You get a lot of attention certainly if you take it to the bar. That's for sure.
I tell you what, I've done a lot of events with Olympic athletes, gold medalists, silver, bronze, and their stories are unbelievable. Like Vancouver Whistler was another next level, right? From what I understand, I wasn't there. But how much did you cavort with the other Canadian athletes from other sports, or could you not because of COVID?
Yeah, we couldn't this time as much as we normally do. Normally, that's a pretty big part of the Olympic experience is hanging out with the other athletes. This time, only the athletes who are in your village. There's 3 villages at the Olympics, these ones anyway. So, at the athlete lounge, we'd hang out and talk about the events and stuff like that. And you can watch everything. You have live feeds from all the venues. But yeah, there wasn't an opportunity to kind of party or celebrate at the end. Usually closing ceremonies, you go to all the various, Canada House, Germany House, whatever, and party. And there wasn't any of that this time. So the most we did was have some drinks on the plane on the way home, and
that's how you celebrated.
Yeah, hung out with everybody on the flight.
Was it a big charter?
Yeah. It was it was really nice. They had it set up in such a way that everybody had an open seat next to them. But there's a lot of athletes on the flight going to Vancouver.
Craze32 watching on YouTube says, awesome. Ben Coquell is a Moose Jaw guy, so I'm glad Justin keeps him safe. Dar watching on YouTube says, bronze medals weigh 450 grams.
Oh, there you go. It's pretty close.
You were. Jeff, the Stampeders fan, wants to know, are they solid metal or plated? Looks solid to me.
I feel like this is pretty solid, but I know that my gold medal's not solid gold. I know that for sure. It's I think it's gold filled, they call it. There's a certain amount of gold that goes on top of it, but that thing would weigh an absolute ton if it was solid.
No kidding, and be worth a heck of a lot.
Yeah,
can you stick around for another segment and answer some questions?
Sure.
And I also have to say this, with all the events that I've done with Olympians, I know how key the sponsorship is for them. Do you have sponsors that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, my main sponsors are Lululemon and RBC. I'm an RBC Olympian. And then Pure Vita Labs supplies me with supplements. And then also B210, who's their kind of sole purpose is helping out with sport in Canada. And they've provided me with an absolute ton of equipment and that kind of thing, which is super important in bobsleigh.
Awesome. But Justin, of the bronze medal of which you're carrying from the Beijing Games, tell us about the race. the clincher, if you don't mind. And you said it was wild. Why was it so wild?
Yeah, I mean, it was so tight in the race for bronze. At the game, the entire all the sliding events at the games there, the Germans were completely dominating. Their equipment is next level. You know, they're doing Formula One type stuff, and we're not. So we were pretty far away from silver and gold, but the German who was in fourth was closing the gap every run. I don't know if he had a bad first run or what, but after that he kept closing, and it didn't seem to really matter what he did in the track. He was really fast. So, you know, going into that last run, there was a ton of pressure. We only had, I think, 800ths in the bank or something, which is, you know, nothing. And we needed to do everything perfectly. We needed a really good start. We needed the guys to sit perfectly in the sled for aerodynamics. And then I had to have a really clean run. And it was one of those situations where, you know, there's a lot of pressure, and you can take that negatively or positively. And I thought about it for a second, and it actually brought a smile to my face. I had my helmet on already, and I was smiling like an idiot underneath it, because I realized, like, this is why I do it.
It's here.
These are the moments
here.
that I do this for. And I walked the line with a smile on my face under my helmet, and we just let it fly, and everything went pretty well. I made one small mistake in the middle, and I knew that it was going to come right down to the wire after that, but managed to be pretty much perfect the rest of the track, and build some big speed at the bottom. And yeah, it went our way.
Christine in Medicine Hat wants to know how old you are and what's next for you.
Yeah, I'm 35, and I mean, the next big thing I'm doing is getting married in April, and then, you know, I guess the decisions will start being made whether I keep going. You know, I'm getting the age where I definitely think about retiring. Bobsledders can, especially pilots, can go, you know, till they're 40. So, you know, I could do another quad. I feel like my body's healthy enough to do it, but I have to decide if that's something that me and my fiance want. So, you know, we'll see.
You're a BC kid, but you said you've been in Calgary for 15 years. Where do you envision yourself once you're married? Where are you going to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I love Calgary. I've been living here for a long time. I haven't spent a lot of time here in the winter. I've been traveling, you know, bobsledding in the winters. I don't think that I would love the winters here, but the summers might be good enough to get me through. So we'll kind of see, you know, where we end up. It's going to be a decision to be made with my partner as well.
What is it about the pilot position that would allow you to extend your career?
Well, you can, if you have a really good group of athletes behind you, they can kind of make up for your slowing down a little bit physically, and you also just keep getting better at driving, knowing the track better, you know, figuring out the real fine details and nuances of finding speed. And so with that kind of combination, you can extend your career. And there has been quite a few very successful pilots go into their 40s or close to it.
And tell me about, if you don't mind, the footballers and why they've had success. And you mentioned Shaq Murray-Lawrence. We have had him on this show. Cool dude. Sam Jaguar, same thing. Former NFLer and CFLer, super guy. And now Jay Dearborn just kind of picks it up, and he's successful. What is it about football that translates so well? We all know Lummer, of course, and what he's done. So
yeah, I mean, you know, a huge part of it right off the bat is the training is very similar. You know, it's a power sport, especially guys in kind of the running back position and that sort of thing. They're big, strong, fast guys, and that's what you need in bobsleigh as well. And then from football, you get that team aspect as well, which is really important in bobsleigh. You spend a lot of time on the road with each other, grinding, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And so having that team aspect is really big coming from football.
And I said this off the air. Darren said I had to ask you on the air. You're done training for a little while. Where do you go eat? What's the first meal that you have, and why?
I picked up a big juicy burger. I don't know why, but it seems to be what I get when I come back. There's a list of foods that I go eat in the first week that I'm back, but a burger's right up there at the top. That pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to beat. Justin, this has been awesome, man. Congratulations. Good luck with the wedding, and hopefully we can stay in touch.
All right. Thank you very much.
Justin Kripps, gold medalist and bronze medalist from Beijing and Pyeongchang. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.